So, when I was little, I remember shopping around a department store with my mom. What we were looking for specifically, I can't really remember, forgive me, I was about 5 or so at the time. But one thing I do remember was when we went to the movie section and I saw this little stand, I saw something that would change my life for the foreseeable future. Pokémon the movie, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew was a fever dream to me as a kid. The cool characters with their wild outfits traveling to this cool castle to fight in the big tournament with all the elemental creatures was insane. God, this movie's so great. It's got the cool tournament, it's got the crazy depiction of the Pokémon War, which is something only the games have ever hinted to, as a concept. There's this intense story about a fallen hero and about how his partner has to try and finish his mission and keep the Pokémon world from collapsing. The fact Ash has these crazy aura powers that for some reason not only become canon, but then mess off for the rest of the series because they weren't really sure how to use it in the show. Even though I can think of multiple moments or Pokemon transformations and power-ups that could have absolutely been because Ash just has a deeper bond with his Pokemon. I mean, come on, you already got that plot point. But whatevs, Pokemon is longer than One Piece, y'all can't have everything be a banger. Now, this movie was my first experience with Pokemon as a whole franchise, and going back to watch this was so good for me. It's always nice to go back and experience things you liked as a kid, and see that little shit had a magnificent taste. But I got so excited rewatching that movie that I thought it'd be fun to go over it in my own little review. Usually we don't do anything besides games. Well, we did One Piece once or twice, but that kind of ended up being a bad idea anyway. I usually just kind of stick to video games, to avoid the copyright demons. But I really want to gush about how amazing this movie is, so let's just have fun and get into it. And forgive me if this becomes a bit of a PNG fest. Also, if you enjoy the video, drop a like and a subscribe for me. I could really use all the support I can get, especially with the bigger projects needing a little bit more time in the oven. I really appreciate it, and according to statistics, this does help me get those, so yeah, I don't know, bro. You just do what you gotta do. I ain't your dad, but I do appreciate any sort of support. Starting things off, we get into this banger intro that shows the whole world of Pokemon, which, yeah, they kind of do this in all the movies, but this one is the one that makes it really cool. But that's not even what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the whole ass Pokemon War that changed my brain chemistry forever. These boys got color-coded armor, spears, swords, shields, equal but different Pokemon fighting, like Tyranitar versus Aggron, Blastoise versus the Nidos, Charizard versus Skarmory, and we even got Killer Houndoom Scout Forces? How the actual hell was this not inspirational enough for an entire side series of games? At least, this is just... This movie and the constant references to such events in the games themselves have left me frothing at the mouth for a game based around this kind of conflict. It's too good. It's too clean. Y'all thought Conquest was cool? Y'all thought Pokemon mods with guns and Power World was crazy? Oh, get ready for Armored Steelix having a kaiju battle with Armored Onix over the fate of the Four Kingdoms. Oh my god, we gotta move on. I'll be stuck on this forever, and it's only 5 minutes? Oh my god. From here we meet our main protagonist in this venture, Lucario, one of the brand new Generation 4 Pokemon to be revealed in this movie. Gen 3's fascination with the next generation is so interesting to me. No other series has had this much of a crossover with its generations, other than Generation 1, which they had that because they already had the plans for a second gen during the anime's run. Gen 4's plans were developed around the start of Gen 3, so I guess this was their way of sprinkling info in for it. Cool. Either way, Lucario is now running and fighting some Hound Scouters before losing its sight temporarily. After this, we cut to our boy Sir Aaron chilling at his cool as hell castle with his princess. But Aaron gets a call from Lucario about the current situation, and after seeing Mew fly off to the tree, Mew, the legendary Pokemon, he seems to get an idea, so he summons his personal steed and flies after Mew, fighting off some scary air boys on the way, before continuing towards the tree. Here he sees his man, Lucario, and since that dog is the most loyal of man's best friends, he tries to stop and help Sir Aaron. but his master stops him, clearly conflicted with what he's about to do. So he tells Goku that he can't come along, thanks Sham Sham, and that he's abandoning the kingdom. Lucario is so confused, but Aaron, using his staff filled with a mysterious aura power, traps Lucario inside as he makes his way for the tree. We then see a pulse come from the tree, seemingly pacifying the two armies, leaving Lucario distraught and angered as he begins to fall deeper and deeper within the staff. Cue the CGI intro. God, I love that stinger they add to the theme for the movies. It's so rad and foreboding. We then skip years throughout the history of humanity. Oh shit, not the tower! Also, I really like the Rapid Ash drawn carriage. That's really cute. If they ever remake this, like, you know, Mewtwo style, then I'd really like if, like, the Galar forms were used for that little animation instead. No real reason, I just kind of think it'd be more canonical and pretty neat. Anyway, now we're in the modern times of 2005. Whoa. With Ash and company heading towards this European-esque castle from before, which is like apparently just north of Pewter City, which I guess is neat. You know, this is during the Battle Frontier season, so not only are we back in Kanto, we're just full on adding lots of Generation 4 Pokemon, which includes for this movie, Lucario, Mime Jr., Bonsly, Weavile, and Munchlax, which is cool. Ash and company are here to take part in the tournament celebrating Sir Aaron's epic sacrifice to save the kingdom. And now Ash and crew actually get to put on some like timely duds with Ash putting on his black mage fit, cosplaying Sir Aaron, which he looks awesome in. And then the rest of the gang's just kind of looking like they came out of Robin Hood Men in Tights. And here it's also revealed that Mew is still around and kicking, playing pranks by transforming into different Pokemon. But the tournament now begins. Cue me gleeing like a little squirrel girl. With everything ending off with a showdown between Pikachu and Weavile, because Ash, the GOAT, obviously got to the finals, though I think Pikachu may be overdoing it a little bit. No, but like, for real, look at this shit. Could you imagine if we got like the Black Lightning like he got when he fought Charizard? That's also some aura shit, but we'll talk about that another time. Of course, the tournament is over and Ash is declared the winner. He's congratulated by... Oh my god. So, this is where I got my taste in women. Oh shit, she's even wearing armor. That's not fair, movie. Give me a chance. Little Chubby had great taste, that's all I'm gonna say. This lady is known as Kid, and she congratulates Ash as we cut to the ball, where we get to see some fun antics with Team Rocket and the gang, including Brock trying to steal my girl, though? Who could blame him about wanting to be her squire? I'd do it in a heartbeat. The music in this scene is just so wonderful. Like, I'm really loving the vibes from this ballroom scene, and the fact they're allowed to bring out all their Pokemon is just so cool too, though they don't really have their full teams for this movie, which is kind of odd. Well, I guess it saves on animation, and they don't really use most of these guys in this movie anyway. The CGI in this scene is actually pretty decent. You know, of course you gotta keep in mind that this movie was made to be seen on those crunchy ass CRT screens that took up like a third of all modern screens at the time. You know, CGI really does have its use, you know, back in those days, and especially now with the technology can be used to make some insane visuals. You know, it's always good to like keep in mind the limitations they had at that time, and then like temper your expectations for older films, especially for like what screen they were made to be seen on. You know, it's not fair to compare it to modern standards. Eventually though, the Pokemon slip away to have fun elsewhere, with Meowth even joining after them. However, it's here where he spots Kid putting on some sort of headset, revealing to Meowth that Team Rocket may not be the only thieves on the scene of this castle. And oh my god, she's a secret agent with a utility belt? Oh man, could she get any better? Is that Unova? Kid speaks to an older man who refuses to stay still, opting to get a whole workout while he's working in the office, which I can't blame him. I myself am starting to get a little bit of Hank Hill ass from sitting all the time. But he also reveals Kid to be like this Tomb Raider-esque TV star who explores mysterious places, and right now she's on the hunt for Mew and its connection to the nearby Tree of Beginnings. Put the Vegeta Broly scene like, oh my god, she's so goddamn cool. Also, very funny that she says, Mew. You know, it's so weird to think that there's like multiple of like legendaries and mythicals. Kanto scientists are going crazy to find the origin of all life, even going to South America to find it. But in their own country, just a little north of Pewter, there is a castle seated right beside the Tree of Beginnings that has and sees Mew on the regular, to the point that nobody's surprised to find it hanging around. Giovanni only knows how to lose money. Between the expedition and Silver's mom's alimony, oh my god. So, as the kids are playing around and the kid is keeping Overwatch for Mew to show, Ash is stuck playing the role of the Aura Guardian due to him winning the tournament. Now, however, it's time for the fireworks, and to trigger them, Ash needs to make the iconic pose of the hero Sir Aaron. However, as Ash lifts the staff, it starts to glow and we watch as Lucario is freed from it. Lucario, still blinded from his battle 1,000 years ago, which, god, that must suck to have dirt in your eyes for that long. But then the doggo leaps forwards towards Ash, questioning him as if he was Sir Aaron. However, he opens his eyes and he notices that Ash isn't his master and that he is in a whole new world to live in. At the same time though, Mew has appeared and is trying to play with the other Pokemon. Kid then sends in her Siamese Weaviles to try and put a tracker on the mythical, however they end up starting a battle instead. Of course, freezing all of the gang's Pokemon in the process. Yeah, thanks for nothing, dipshits, especially you two. I know how fast you are, and you use fire. How do you even freeze? The battle then ends with Mew teleporting Pikachu and Meowth away. And I thought maybe they'd do a little switcheroo idea when it transformed into Meowth, you know, let the Weavile follow him, thinking he was Mew in disguise. But no, Mew is a legendary, so most problems are just a boop, and it's gone kind of thing. Real shame Mew's transformation gimmick isn't used in battle more often. Well, except for journeys, I guess. Lucario then reveals to the latest queen of the kingdom how Sir Aaron told him that he was abandoning the place and he ran away from the battle. The queen and her maid actually take this rather well, surprisingly, especially since this is basically Ben Franklin coming to modern America to tell us that George Washington was a bitch who fled the Delaware. Could you imagine? But these two are very chill about it and they say they'll look into it further. With Lucario saying he'd do anything for this kingdom and the queen letting him know he'll always have a place here. Which is really nice. I kind of like that this kingdom not only is exceedingly kind, they also rock these medieval outfits on the daily. This ain't no celebratory attire. I dig it. We should bring back armor into modern fashion. And capes. We need more capes. The Pokemon then come in freaking out about Mew and Pikachu, with Max and Kid explaining what happened. The queen then says that Mew likes to steal away toys from the kingdom all the time, and it seems it may have taken Pikachu and Meowth to play with it since it can be really lonely at times. The queen then orders Lucario to guide them to the Tree of Beginnings so they can rescue their friends. And it's here that Kid is revealed to be Kid Summers, a TV star, and of course, Brock is the biggest fan, like I could ever blame him. But Ash is still confused about something, and he wonders why Lucario thought he was Sir Aaron. And he asks if it was because of his awesome fit, which, I mean, yeah, it's a really good fit. Really, why don't we have this in more of the main games? But no, Lucario corrects him, saying that it was actually because of Ash's large amount of aura, and that's why he made the mistake. Meaning that Ash actually may be able to wield aura similarly to Lucario and Sir Aaron. The group then heads off in Kid's Humvee as Team Rocket stows away in the trunk, probably getting their skulls bounced around like ping pong balls off metal from Kid's awful drunk driving. My god, Brock, how many drinks did you get her? But hey, if there was an official best girl bingo, that's at least one check. Now we just need to see if we can get her to chokeslam a politician or a lawyer. That would be funny. Okay, but here's actually where we get some explanation about what aura truly is, and I don't mean whatever the hell Piccolo's doing. Aura is the life force around all things, a sort of energy that certain people and Pokemon are able to manipulate, with Sir Aaron being one of its most powerful wielders, and recordedly taught it to Lucario, which is strange if Lucario, as a whole species of aura wielders. But hey, this is before we all knew that, and like me, I assume most kids thought this thing was a legendary anyway. It sure was marketed like one. I mean, it even got a movie. I personally had no clue it wasn't until I saw Maylene had one and I was like, the fuck? Also, kinda odd that Zoroark is also an anthropomorphic dog, non-legendary with a movie, and has a younger Evo form. But these two are never paired up as like rivals or anything, which is so strange. Maybe it wasn't popular enough. Which, saying out loud, sounds a little dumb. As the gang travel though, they come across a Bonsley and it tags along, soon leading them to a hot spring to relax in as they wait for the geysers nearby to calm down.
Bonsley won't like water. It's a rock-type Pokémon. Oh,
Bonsley!
Well, Max, I don't see that stopping Combuskin over there, boiled chicken-looking ass. But hey, look at that majestic dog over there, posing like he's making a Windows collage. Is this what they call aura farming? Strange. I don't feel any stronger. What do you think, Piccolo? God, he's so cool. While relaxing at the spring, Ash and May go for a little climb and accidentally pluck a nearby time flower, which are able to record a moment in time through the power of aura, and then project it when activated again by someone who can manipulate it. Soon enough, night falls and things get a bit heated when Lucario and Ash begin to argue, with Lucario still being sore about Sir Aaron saying that a human can't be friends with a Pokémon, which is really dumb to say right here. And he also says that there's no way a bond between Ash and Pikachu can be genuine? Oh! Okay, obviously this puts Ash on edge, and he begins to do something that I thought was odd hadn't been touched on yet. Questioning Lucario's side of the story about the war. I mean, yeah, the castle town owed so much to Sir Aaron, but Lucario came out of the staff and really put their history into question, saying Sir Aaron was the traitor. And you know, nobody seemed to be bothered by that, you know, like sure, they said they investigated, but I at least expected the maid or the queen to push back a little bit more on that topic. With Ash doing what I thought would have been the obvious thing to do, and then ask Lucario if he was the traitor, which then pisses Lucario off, and eventually the two of them start throwing hands in the creek.
Splish.
Whew. Okay, usually I'm not down for Ash being violent, especially when he just kind of does it randomly in the movies. But at the same time, watching him and Lucario crash out against one another in this movie was wildly entertaining. He skipped him like a stone! Either way though, May comforts Ash about all this. And Ash is still being a little pissy. I mean, after all that stuff Lucario said about him and Pikachu, I mean, obviously. But May is like, well, you said some pretty mean stuff as well. And I have to take my man Ash's side here, cause that stupid dog and his weird ass sniffers started it. I don't care if he's still in his feelings about his fallen out relationship with his master. That's problematic. But going for other people's throat like that is just mean. He really did need to be taken down a peg. Lucario, of course, is up on a hilltop making one of his many little wallpaper poses, when Max actually comes by to cheer him up with a little treat. Yeah, this is good. What is this?
Oh, you know, it's just a new little dessert we have here in the future.
Wow, this is delicious. I really like...
What is this?
Oh, it's nothing. Just dog's best friend. Chocolate. You think you're gonna talk all that shit to my idol Ash Ketchum like that without me doing anything? Now listen here, dog, you're gonna get real sweet on him, or else I'm gonna pull out some more of these treats. You understand me, you literal son of a bitch? After the two feel their feels, Ash comes by and apologizes, and Lucario doesn't.
That bitch!
But then he's like, do you promise you're never going to abandon Pikachu? And Ash is like, yeah, duh, I mean that's the whole reason we're even traveling together right now, dumbass. And then Lucario has the nerve to give him that little dog side eye, like, oh my god, don't even get me started. Eventually the team reaches a rock face and Lucario gets some PTSD as this is the place where Aaron trapped him. And after activating a nearby time flower, he sees what happened right after he was imprisoned. And he sees the armies going ham, making him tweak a little bit and start attacking the group.
I knew he couldn't be trusted!
Soon after, the vision fades and we see the gang react to what happened to Lucario and the war that followed.
You know what I think? Lucario was right.
Really? I mean, I guess you guys are kids, but like, kid, you could see what really happened there, right?
So that whole legend of the champion thing was wrong?
No? Damn, none of you can read context clues. He was clearly about to get trampled. Either way, though, we're back on the hunt, but as soon as they reach the entrance, Regirock comes in and he's just blasting illegal hyper beams. Like, what? Man, I love the Reggies in this movies. That little... that digital cry, it's just so good. What a unique set of Pokemon to include in this film. Though I do kind of wish Registeel got his own move, kind of like how Regice got Ice Beam and Regirock got Hyper Beam. I guess this was before Flash Cannon, but two of them spamming Hyper Beam is a little bit boring for the elemental golems, you know? No, not Golem. Golem. No, not Golem, but Golem as in... your mom. Pass me that number, by the way. But hey, we're finally inside the tree. And as soon as we get in there, kid, let's loose some drones to get some analysis on the place and send it back to Unova. Man, the internet in this place must be insane for the 2000s. We got streaming in the middle of nowhere. We don't even have that in Arkansas yet. That's crazy. And here's where we learn that this place isn't really a tree per se, but more like a living mountain shaped like one, with its own ecosystem and extremely unique diversity of life, including loads of prehistoric Pokemon, which one is stupid cool, and two, one of my favorite things ever are large tree-like areas with their own little ecosystems and oceans and shit. I swear most of my tastes come from this one film, and it's crazy. This is a core pillar of Chubby's personality right here, the weight-bearing film, if you will. Though we actually got to see this place a little bit more earlier with the cutaways to Mew and crew playing around. And we actually found out that this place has its own blood system of life energy, which is pretty unique for a movie location, though I really wish something like this would happen in like the games proper. However, things aren't all good here as the tree's antibodies start to react to the drones and they consider them and the humans as a potential threat. And they start going crazy, literally devouring them. Oh my god. Though, thankfully their Pokemon are free from the vor, but seriously, wow! Eventually things are just down to Ash, Lucario, and Kid, and they even manage to save Pikachu, but only after breaking physics. Oh my god, have you ever looked up this kid's feats? Like, it's insane. Though maybe that's just the aura in him, giving him like Ultra Instinct like Goku over here. Eventually the crew reaches the core, and there they use a time flower to show what really happened with Sir Aaron. And of course, he was that guy all along. Not only did he save the kingdom, but he also saved his best friend, sealing him away so that he would be protected from the war and all this other shit going on. And oh god, the last two humans just got devoured.
I'm afraid this is goodbye.
Huh. Can we not have one of these movies with Ash dying? I mean, sometimes Pikachu dies. But I don't know, man, we're starting to lose the tension in this movie made for 5-year-olds, which this is a really good fucking movie for 5-year-olds. Oh, and also, he was really about to tell Pikachu he loved him, but nobody else. Fucking Grovyle over there Sceptile's the GOAT, come on. But Mew comes in and the other Mons beg him to save their guys. Mew then uses its relationship to the tree to have it call off its attack, which hip hip hooray, the humans are okay. Hold on, was this place red before? Yeah, apparently the tree has some sort of like autoimmune disorder and is currently burning itself out. And since Mew has a symbiotic relationship with the tree, for some reason, it also begins to fall ill, asking Lucario to do the same thing Sir Aaron did so long ago and give up his max aura to save the tree and all the Pokemon living there. Was anyone else kind of sad as kids when you realized that Aura Storm wasn't a real move? I mean, a Z move, at least. It's so cool. Of course, Lucario tries to do as his master and he uses his aura, but it turns out not to be enough. But that's when Ash comes in, not giving a shit if this kills him. And now we have Ash and man's best friend charging up the tree. Eventually though, as Ash begins to fade, Lucario decides to knock him out of the way to sacrifice himself alone, telling Ash that he still has a promise to keep. Eventually fading away and joining Sir Aaron in the past, the painting dimension. What the fuck? Where the fuck did he go? Either way, he's gone, and the crew head out from the tree, with Ash and company continuing their Kanto journeys and saying goodbye to Kid, as she says they'll meet again. They never do, by the way. We never see her again, which is such a shame. And then Kids decides to keep the tree in its secret. Well, a secret. Bitch, it's a mountain. It's only a matter of time till someone else wonders what that big rock really is. But hey, that's Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Cue that prog rock ending. Are those bagpipes? Cool. Okay, but for real, how do I feel about this movie? Listen, this film genuinely is so special to me. It was a real treat watching it again 20 odd years later. The animation was genuinely beautiful and full of little gimmicks like Mime Jr. mimicking all the Pokemon and people, which I thought was adorable. The music was incredible. I get goosebumps every time I watch that tournament montage. And though the ending theme isn't my jam per se, it fits the mood so well. I love it. I thought the storyline was pretty strong, honestly, and emotionally impactful for a direct-to-DVD deal. Though maybe some of the plot could have been tightened up a bit. I'm pretty sure Lucario and Aaron could have handled the tree together like he tried to do with Ash. But if they had done that, then Kid's drones probably would have started a chain reaction that would have burnt down the entire kingdom. You know, had she made it to the tree in that present timeline. So I'm gonna have to let that slide because that's a pretty sad ending. I think the characters and the setting is overall fantastic. I love the medieval stuff. It genuinely hurts me that this has never been touched on again in like the whole series. It's so cool in concept, especially with its form of like mage that's the Aura Guardian. The whole Pokemon War is genuinely a support pillar in my mind, alongside the idea of a tree-shaped ecosystem. I don't know why, but big magical trees with oceans inside of them are my biggest turn on in the story. I love it. And I think a lot of the outfits for this movie were awesome. The concept of Aura was very interesting. Would have loved to see a story all about its impacts on the world and how it relates to objects like time flowers. Another genius concept, by the way. That's a really cool idea. And especially with how they write Ash going forward with Aura, you know? I mean, I guess they do kind of ignore it a lot unless it's the Sinnoh series or Journeys, because I don't know, it's weird that they don't do anything with it, especially because his ability to tap into it actually explains a lot of the crazy shit he's able to do, including all of his unique Pokemon bonds, especially the forms, like, wow. And Lucario is just such a cool character. He was my favorite Pokemon for a long time, and after watching this movie again, I think he's at least still in my top 25, at least. Sorry, brother, but the big turtle and the other Rocky boys are just more my jam. Also,
we'll
the
be
rats.
A rat!
Lucario's still pretty cool, though, especially in this, and it's a damn shame the anime is so picky with movie canon. Because this and Latias are absolutely an example of Ash should have caught the main Pokemon. I know the sacrifice and the rekindling with Aaron was great, but come on now. This duo would have been so cool to have a whole series based around them. I really wish Lucario got to see Ash win the World Cup in Journeys, and even get his own Aura-bonded partner with his Lucario. Also, it really took this long to give Ash a Pokemon he was begging for since this movie. I mean, we were giving everyone else a Gen 4 Mon at the time. It wouldn't be too long after this that James and Brock got a Bonsly and a Mime Jr. of their own. They baited my man with a Lucario for like 10 whole years. God. Also, he wanted a Dunsparce too. I mean, man, wouldn't it have been so cool as like a good cross promo if he got to Dunsparce in Journeys? I don't watch the anime, I just kind of know random bits from it, so y'all let me know if that would be good or bad, but Ash would do Dunsparce and movie Lucario. I don't know. Peak team, that's just what I think. But overall, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew is a great movie and one of my childhood favorites. So much of myself as a creator and as a person is stemmed from this movie. And I literally had no idea just how much of my tastes came from this film. It's actually crazy I haven't watched it in 20 years. Like, really? A giant tree ecosystem is like my dream setting. And also, women in armor, Pokemon War, that's it. That's it right there. I don't know what to tell you. Is this movie a must watch? Well, No, probably not, to be honest. It's no Citizen Kane or Knives Out or anything like that, but I really did have a fun time with it. And I'm so glad I get to share it with you guys at home. Also, this movie introduced the storytelling mom and daughter duo, who actually become a recurring bit for movies going forward. It's really fun to see them get their start as the narrators for this one, especially with how much of a storybook this one feels like, and it led to plenty of fan theories about their true identities, as either the authors of the fictional movie narratives or maybe Ash's future family going over his old adventures, which are honestly both really sweet. But the truth is, it's mostly just Pikachu's VA and her daughter just kind of spending a moment together in the anime, which I think is really cute. I like it. Anyway, see ya boys, bye!